In part 3, we'll explore how conscious facelessness reveals a radically new perspective on relationship. Then we'll look into how being aware of this awake capacity at our centre might help us cope better with stress and with pain. We'll also see that our consciousness includes everyone and everything, that we're distant from nothing, and that we're looking out of a boundless single eye. One of the areas where it really makes a difference to be aware of our private identity is in relationship. I'm aware that publicly I'm face to face with others. For you now, I'm face to face with Muka. However, this is just the outside view of our relationship. From our point of view, it's different. Privately, we are face to no face with each other. I have Muka's face and she has mine. With the help of the camera, I'll show you what I mean. Here is my experience. I don't see two faces, only one, Muka's. Here I'm capacity for Muka. Instead of confronting her there with my appearance here, I'm built open for her. She is within me, face there to no face here. From my point of view, Richard has disappeared and has been replaced by Muka. In this sense, I'm not Richard, I'm Muka. Looking at me now, do you see your own face at the same time? Are you face to face with me or face to no face? Are you living behind an appearance there, closed off from everyone around you? Or are you built open for others? In reality, isn't everyone within your being? Of course, our views out from this space are different. For example, instead of having my thoughts and feelings in your space, you have your own. In such ways we're different. But I find here at centre nothing that separates me from you. There I have your appearance. Here I find this reality that has no one's face on it, no one's name on it. It belongs to you, to me, to everyone. When we identify only with our appearances, it's not surprising if we feel separate from others, and then find ourselves acting from fear, from insecurity. But when we're also aware of who we really are, aware of our common identity, our relationship with others, and the way we act towards others begins to change. Others are no longer just other, they're also ourselves. Being aware that all are within us, that all are a unique expression of this one self, gradually our fear of others begins to dissolve, and our hearts open. When we identify only with what we look like, we think of ourselves as inside our bodies. Then when we experience stress and pain, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and trapped. It seems that there's only the stress and pain, that there's no way out. But when we see that we're not inside our bodies are inside us, in this awake capacity at our centre, we discover an inner sanctuary that's unaffected by our stress and pain. Being aware of this sanctuary doesn't make the stress and pain go away, but it does make available an inner detachment that means they're easier to cope with. Here's an experiment that explores this subject. Look at your hand. I'm not looking at my hand from behind my face here. I'm not distant from my hand. It's given right here in this spacious awareness. I can see the shape, colour and movement of my hand there, given here in this shapeless, colourless, motionless capacity. And I can feel the sensation of my hand there, in this sensation-free capacity here. Of course, I identify with my hand. This is my hand, my body, not yours. You have a different body coming out of the emptiness at your centre. But I'm not in this hand, it's in me. I am my hand because I'm capacity for it. Right now my hand feels relaxed. At centre I'm neutral. I'm capacity for the relaxed feeling there. Making a fist, I now feel tension there, but nothing changes here at my center. Just as it's shape there to no shape here, so it's stress there to no stress here. At center, I remain unaffected, free of the stress. Gently pressing my nail into my finger, I experience discomfort. The discomfort is there in my hand, not here at my center. When you do this experiment, what do you find? Being aware that our innermost being is never stressed or in pain can make a difference in our lives. When we attend to this safe haven inside us, we see that our stress and pain are surrounded by space. They're happening in stillness, in clarity. The stress and pain are real, but so is this clarity. And this clarity isn't affected by whatever happens within it. Being aware of our inner peace and freedom makes it less likely that we'll become overwhelmed by our stress and pain, or that we'll add extra stress to a situation by tensing against or resisting what's happening. Instead, it's more likely that we'll be able to relax and respond calmly and effectively. Looking in at my center, at the place I'm looking out of, I find capacity, clear, boundless awareness. Looking out from my center, I find the world. The nearest thing in the world that I see is my own headless body. You will, of course, see your body emerging from the emptiness at your center. Each of us is capacity for our own body. Looking beyond our own bodies, we find other people. Being capacity at center, our consciousness now includes others. There's a dividing line between our bodies, but no dividing line at center. Looking out, we find many. Looking in, we find one. Reaching out and stroking my friend's dog, I'm capacity for her dog, face there to no face here. Each of us is capacity, not only for other people, but for animals as well. Outside in nature, my consciousness now includes the rest of life and the surrounding environment. At center, we are one consciousness. Looking out from this consciousness, we find the whole world is within us, from this individual human body of ours to the furthest galaxy. This view of who we are has profound implications for the way we relate to others. Awareness of the differences between ourselves and other individuals, nations, religions and races is important, but it's only half the story. If this divided way of seeing ourselves is the only way we see ourselves, then it's not surprising if we experience fear, greed, hatred and conflict. But if we also see that at center there are no dividing lines, at center we are one consciousness, all are within us, then surely this awareness will make a big difference. This isn't just a nice idea to believe in. We can test it whenever we choose. So the question is, are we going to settle only for a half-truth that divides us and leads so easily to conflict? Or are we going to welcome the whole truth, the truth that all our differences are contained within this one consciousness at our center? The future of the world, its peace and its health, may well depend on whether we say yes or no to the whole of ourselves, to who we really are. In the remaining part of Part 3, I'm going to guide you through 2 more experiments. In the first, we'll see if our inner self is distant and therefore separate from anything. In the second, we'll observe whether we're looking out of 2 human eyes or 1 divine eye. There's not one thing in the universe that's distant from our inner self. Between any two things there's always a distance. Between my thumbs there's now a distance of about 10 centimeters. But what's the distance between anything in the world and the aware no thing at our center? Measuring between the church there and the emptiness here, the ruler shrinks to a point. Not only that, there's nothing here at center to measure from, to attach this end of the ruler to. The church there is right here, no distance away. Everything is right here, within this boundless awareness at our center. How many eyes are we looking out of? For you I've got 2, but for me I've got 1, a single eye that's wider than the world. To bring your attention to your single eye, hold your hands out like this, like a pair of glasses. You can see 2 holes there with a dividing line between them. Now put them on and see what happens to the dividing line. I find it vanishes. The 2 holes become 1. One single eye here that isn't even an eye in fact. Hold your hands out in front of you like this, and now bring them back past your head. Don't they disappear into your boundless single eye? And as you bring them forward, don't they come out of this edgeless space where you are? Whenever we choose, no matter where we are, we can see our single eye, this clear space that we're looking out of. And we don't just see a part of it, we see all of it. It's indivisible. Nor can we see it imperfectly. It's always crystal clear for everyone. Of course, each person's response to seeing their single eye is different, and our own response changes over time. But what we're responding to, this clear inner light, always remains constant.